Okay, sports fans, here we go. We're going to take the basic page that we did last week. This looks a little bit different than what we did last week. I've added a few things, and I actually added real words here that I consider my story for dealing with music. And but I've changed a few things. I've customized the links up here. I did not customize this down here, and I'll talk about that next week. But everything else here, we're going to convert to a web page. And in order to do that, we've got to do something called slicing, and we've got a thing called optimization. And I'm going to have a kind of an abbreviated version of optimization for you as well. First thing is we don't need these guidelines anymore, so I'm going to turn them off. View menu, show, guides, off. And I'll probably turn off the pixel grid as long as I'm at it. Not that I really need to, but because I can. Okay, so basically we're going to break this whole page down into rectangles. Just really quickly, rectangles are what your browser, so Safari, Chrome, Firefox, even Internet Explorer, they all understand rectangles, best of all. So we're going to break this whole page down into rectangles, and then we're going to output them all as individual rectangle pictures. You'll see how this goes. So there's three ways to create the rectangle. It's called a slice, and the best way right now is I'm going to take most of these layers and individually choose them. So I've got my move tool, auto select, set for layer, good. And for instance, I'll start here at the top as our title, and you can see that down over here it chose the layer, which is great. And we're just going to go up here to the layer menu and go down to this one, new layer-based slice, and click, and it puts a rectangle around there. That's our first slice. And it also created these extra slices. These are called auto slices. The slice we created was a layer slice, layer-based slice. These are automatic slices. These are sort of the leftovers right now. So Photoshop sees this as a blue tag, as kind of a higher version of these slices. Now we're going to slice up everything here in just a moment, but just know that this is kind of a higher ranking than these gray ones, okay? So we're going to continue that process. So for instance, I'll click on the green here, make sure, oops, did it click on the green? There we go. There's my green layer, rounded rectangle that we did last week, and we'll do the same process again. New layer-based slice. It now has a box around that, and I'm going to zoom into this section right over here so you can really see this. You'll notice that since we have the effect here of the drop shadow, that the box, the slice, actually accommodates that for that. So it stays outside that box. The slice accommodates for the shadow. That's a good thing. Okay, we're going to continue on. I'm going to take each one of these paragraph slices. So here's my first one. Go down here, layer-based slice. Second one, layer-based slice. Now you'll notice that this slice actually goes down over this graphic. Well, that's okay actually. I'm going to click on that graphic, which I'm pretty sure is that one, yes. And I will create another slice out of that. And then the slices kind of get out of each other's way for now. And we'll click on this last one and do another layer-based slice. Boom. This area looks great. Okay. What else is here? We want to go down. Now, you can actually do multiple layers. So for instance, I'll grab this one and then shift-click on this one and shift-click on this one, and we can do more at a time. New layer-based slice. Terrific. I'll do these three. I mean, you can really do, we could have done this whole thing really in one shot if this was where we were headed. Grab those guys. Okay, we're missing the headline here, so I'll grab these two. And there's also these guys. I'm gonna zoom in to this area down here, and we'll hit Guitar tab and shift-click bass and shift-click the banjo, and also do that. Okay, now that's all very well and good. And wow, we've got a lot of slices there now. In fact, we're up to, looks like 77 slices. That's pretty huge. We're going to do a few more. Now, this whole process has largely been automated because we just put a rectangle around the contents that we already know are on the page. Okay, we're going to do a little manual version up here. So I'm going to zoom into this spot. Okay, now we're going to use a different tool here. We've got two tools here: the Slice tool and the Slice Select tool. Now I'm going to go to the Slice tool and basically draw a box around the good links that's here. Okay, now this is called a user-based slice. Now this has a little slightly higher ranking than the layer-based slice. So I'm going to continue on here for a minute. Now, in fact, I'm going to actually kind of mess up a little bit. Now, right now, because this is the last slice I created, the Slice tool is allowed to go back and edit the last slice you just made. So that's why when I've moved my cursor inside the box, you'll notice that my knife slicer there has a little arrow on it, which at least gives you the indication that something's changed. And what that really means is that we can edit the box. Okay? Well, here's the deal. If I move, let's say that I leave this in kind of a bad position here. My goal when I'm doing all these slices is just to put a slice around the different stuff. If it's if it's just all a plain color, those can pretty much be just automatic slices. Okay, so for right now I'm going to leave this in kind of not a great state, and I'll draw another one. So let's say that I go down here to the amazing slow downer, and in fact that one's kind of a bad thing too. Okay, now look what happens. Now since I kind of cut this G off, the descender down there, I can go down here because it's the last thing I drew, and I'll make this actually snap up to the edge where that first one meets. That's good. But I can't go back to this slice and make any changes. If I want to do that, I have to go to the Slice Select tool, and then I can go do something like that, which is great for a user-based slice. That's easy to do. Okay, now I'm going to finish up my slicing here. So we'll go back to this. I'm just going to snap it to the existing sides there. And we'll go down here. This is probably more space than I need. I can probably move the bottom of this pretty comfortably, I think. And it wants to snap. Hang on. Let me move it a little bit closer. Remember those keys? Spacebar command? Okay, let me move up this just a little bit. That's a little bit more comfortable now. Okay, nice. So it's all looking pretty good. What I wanted to bring your attention to is that you can edit I mean by that, you can make a change with the Slice Select tool on a layer-based slice. It won't seem like it at first, and you can't actually, until you make some changes. So remember, I kind of mentioned that there's a hierarchy of slices. There's the auto-based slice, the automatic slice, which is kind of the leftovers that we really haven't had to do manually. Okay, above the auto slice is the layer-based slice, which is all the other boxes we created. And then we've got the user-based slice, which is these guys over there. Those are the highest in the ranking. Okay, now let's say, for instance, that I goofed this up, and I need to go make some changes. With the selected tool, I can select that layer, which is great, but notice that I can't change anything. There's no handles on the sides or the corners. Now, this is very easy to do. Since I said that the layer-based slice is not as high as the user-based slice, all we've got to do is tell Photoshop to promote this to be a user-based slice. Very simple. All we've got to do is go over here to the Promote button. Remember, you're using the Slice Select tool. Go to Promote. Boom. Now all these handles show up, and I can edit this as I see fit. Now actually, it was actually in pretty good shape to begin with, but I was doing that to show a point. So let me go back and set this up. I'm going to put this just south of the shadow. That's good. You know what? I missed one layer, didn't I? I missed the that gray line here. So I'm going to zoom in, and with my selection tool, I will click on that to tell me that it is shape 1. Is that correct? Sure is. And I'm going to make one more layer-based slice out of that. Okay, let's take a look. Looks fantastic. Life is good. I'm going to save my document. Oh, you know what we did? What I forgot to do? For now, let's do this. let's do a save as. We should have done this first of all, actually, this whole process. Now I'm going to put this on the desktop. Now, currently it says comp ready to slice. Let's change this to, how about slice demo 1 on my desktop. Okay, so we'll save it like that. Yes, maximize compatibility to be compatible with earlier versions of Photoshop. That's great. And, you know, here's the thing. Now, since I've done a lot of changes to the look of this file, some of these older comps look kind of squirrely now. And I really don't need them anymore. What I want to do is go back here. And there's a bunch of layers here I don't need. I just want to isolate my one comp so that I can work with it. Now, we've already saved this off as a separate name, so I don't have to worry about not having a copy or a backup copy somehow. So what I want to do here is go over here to the flyout menu for the layers panel. Remember, here's the layers panel, here's the flyout menu. And I'm going to delete any hidden layers. It'll just get rid of them. And it's going to ask me, are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. There we go. And so now it should be a little neater in here. If you'd like to close up this layout 1, it's a little bit easier to work with, which is nice. And now might be another good time to save the document. Super. Okay. Next step in this process is, and by the way, we can actually close layer comps because because we deleted a lot of layers here that aren't in use. Layer comps here is freaking out, going, what happened? Something's going on. Well, at this point, we really don't care. So I'm going to close each of these guys here, and we're ready to move on. What we want to do is spit this out as an HTML document. Okay. And actually, an HTML document really isn't just an HTML document. It's also a series of pictures. Let me show you how this works. We're going to go to the File menu, go to Save for Web. And now, unfortunately, it's giving me, when I like to work in 4-up view. And to be honest, I'm going to give you an abbreviated version. You can get away with 2-up. That's fine. Okay. Now, I just hit Command 0 to fit to window, and now we can kind of see what's going on here. Now, what's happening in this left-hand window, this is the original document. It's a little hard to see some things because a lot of the stuff is grayed out. That's okay. Don't worry about that. Okay. What this window is about is saving out individual slices. What's going to happen is Photoshop is going to take each one of these rectangles and turn it into its own document. So it's going to spit out so this number 3 that I've got here, Photoshop is going to spit out a small image document of just what's inside this rectangle. Same thing for all the other rectangles. It's going to spit out a picture of just what's in that rectangle. So we're going to have a total of, look, 91 layers there. Actually, there's one extra thing that it throws in, so it'll be a total of 92. Okay. Now, our job, when you're any sort of web designer, our job is to make our websites and our web pages small in file size so that they travel across the internet rapidly and they load onto the viewer's computer rapidly. Okay. If you've got a slow internet connection, man, you don't want to download large files any larger than you need to. Okay. So what we do in this window is we go through and we tell each slice to be compressed somehow. Okay. And there's a variety of different compression settings. Now I'm going to click on this picture here. Okay. And by default, it's giving us a GIF compression. Okay. And there's a bunch of different kind of compressions here: GIF, JPEG, Ping8, Ping24, and Windows bitmap, which you'll never use. You'll never use that, so don't even worry about it. Now, I use these top 3 a lot. And by default, when you, sorry, I burped there. When you first get to this window, by default, everything is set up as a GIF compression, which stands for Graphics Interchange Format. And it's a rather old format, and it's really kind of specialized for just graphics. Ooh, my computer's telling me I haven't done a backup. Ooh, I need to do that. Anyway, so I forgot my train of thought. Each one of these graphics by default is set up for GIF. Okay, and actually the setting is pretty high. But look at the file size. Each one of these rectangles is pretty small, 3.667K, 3.445. It's small. Okay. Now, here's the one thing. Our job here is really to balance things out. We want to spit out documents that are low in file size but high in quality. Okay, that's your balancing act. That's what you should learn how to do. Now, I'm going to make your life extremely simple for this. Now, since everything else is pretty much set up for GIF, all you've got to worry about are the photographic elements. So this one here, what we're going to do is we're going to set it for JPEG. Okay, now GIF stands for Graphics Interchange Format, which means it's great for graphics like this. JPEG stands for Joint Photographers Experiment Group. So you know that since it's got the word photographers in it, you know it works for photographs. Okay, so we're going to drop this on a JPEG, and you can mess around with the quality setting and whatnot, but let me go back and show you something. Okay, with this picture selected, the value that it's going to put out is 100K. That's with a GIF compression currently. Okay, now when I change this to JPEG, look at that file size again. JPEG, now we've cut it down by 50%. Okay, the good news is JPEG quality works great for photographs, not surprisingly. Okay, JPEG quality does not work well for flat value colors, like mostly this kind of stuff. If this had a gradient in it, maybe it might work better, but this is just black and white. It's very vanilla in terms of what it needs. Okay, so for this, we'll just click on this. GIF is fine, totally fine. Let's go down here. So we're going to set this one for, now currently look at the size, 18, almost 19K, which is not bad actually for GIF, but JPEG will look better. And look at the file size, we've cut it by 50%. Okay, same thing here, and same thing here. And quite honestly, you're going to get, if you went to ping, like, well, actually, let's take a look here. This is 13K with JPEG. Okay, if I drop this into ping 8, we might get something similar. Let's see. Okay, it's going to be good file quality, but the file size is a little bit too large. So we'll stick with JPEG. Okay, so all I did was I just changed this one, this one, this one, and this one. Everything else is some sort of a handmade graphic. That's all I want to do. Just change the pictures to JPEGs, and we're going to click OK. We're going to click Save. Okay, now, so Photoshop has asked me, where do you want to put this website or this web page? Well, I'm going to put mine on the desktop, and I'm going to set up a folder for this. We'll call this the tab demo folder. That's fine. So we'll put that there, and now it takes us and it puts us inside that folder. That's fine. Okay, and then the file name of the file is slice demo, right? Slice demo 1. So Photoshop offers, well, do you want to call this slice demo 1.jpg? And the answer is, well, no. We want an HTML document and a folder of all the images that are going to be created by these slices. So it's very important that we set this format to HTML and images. Okay, now hopefully you've got all slices turned on as well. Now we're ready to go. So look what happened here. It's no longer .jpg, it's .html. Now if you want to customize this and give this a better name than this, or something different from the original title, that's fine, but we don't need to. So we're going to save where we are. And wow, it processed that fast. I've got a fast computer here too. Okay, now I'm going to save my document just to cover my hiney, and we're going to hide Photoshop and go, I've got some other things open here. We'll go find that folder, which is this one. Oops, let's just open it. There we go. And you'll notice what's inside now. We've got the HTML document and the images. Now, Safari is the default browser on my computer. So when I click this, it's just going to open straight away in Safari. And there's my page. And it's got all the things that are in there. Looks pretty good. And by the way, the whole point of doing these slices, well, let me show you. Actually, I'll close this up here. Let me move these images out for just a moment. And I'm just going to show you what the file will look like without any pictures. That's what it looks like without pictures. This is just the structure. Those are all the slices we made, but it's really just the structure. Okay? And essentially what the having, like, this is the banner that says the name how to, or whatever this is called, the tablature, logo, whatever it is. The reason we have a rectangle here is because it can act as a trigger. If you look at most logos on most pages around the planet, when you click on it, it takes you to the home page. And that's what we would do here too if I was doing an entire website. If you click on the main logo, it would take you to the home page. And then these are the triggers to the other links that we've got going on. Otherwise, let me hide this again. Let's go put the images folder back. What happened to it? Images, 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 images. What happened to it? Did I lose it? There it is. Duh. I'll put this back here. Okay. Now when I go back here, it loads all those images back in place. And you can see that I can actually pick these images up. And it lets you know that those images are actually just single box pictures. Okay. I think that's pretty much it. The last thing we want to do, that's really it. Okay, next week we're going to take this page and take it into Dreamweaver and hook up these links. Okay, so hope that helped. Please review if you need to relearn anything else.